is practicing demand-side economics, and Ruto thinks that government will grow richer by collecting more money from the people and then doling out projects all over. Kibaki understood that economies change by adopting what is called supply-side economics. And in supply side, what you do is that you identify a sector. And in that sector, the growth trajectory should be private sector driven. The private individuals should drive it. So what is the government barrier to the growth of this particular sector? You remove that barrier, government barrier, then allow that sector to grow. So that, for example, when Kibaki decided to do away with, to liberalize the airwaves, that time the government had decided frequencies are limited. We're only giving KBC, and then the other FM stations are limited to a particular geographical reach. Your Metro FM or your Nation FM, you can't broadcast beyond Nairobi and its environs. But Kibaki says, why? What is the problem? If you license Ekegusi to go and broadcast in Gusi language in Kisii and target the people, the villager at the very bottom, to listen to broadcast in their language. So what he did was this. He gave the private sector, he removed a government barrier that was stopping manufacturers from reaching a market. Now you're a manufacturer, you now want to advertise your product. You've been allowed to reach the bottommost part of Kisii to advertise, because now you have a platform. So they will advertise in Kisii, and now more and more people will buy the goods, so they have a larger market reach. This manufacturer will be making more sales, right? As he's making more sales, government is making more money. But Ruto will look at that manufacturer and say, oh, how much do you make this year? I want to tax you this much. You are not coming up with intervention to boost his business. So Kibaki was boosting people's businesses indirectly, without even people knowing that government had intervened. Kibaki was not borrowing from the domestic market. He was restricting borrowing from the domestic market. So the interest rates were lower. So the private individual is able to access credit facilities at a cheaper rate. Today, Ruto is borrowing a lot in the domestic market. In fact, the largest borrower of the domestic market. Government is borrowing money, short-term bonds, at 15% interest rate. When a private individual goes to the same market to borrow, the bank will tell you that it will give you a loan at 24%. That immediately is a non-performing loan, NPL. Because no one will afford that kind of interest rate of 24%. Because government has now pushed us out of domestic market borrowing. So how will this economy grow? Who will invest money? Because many people cannot access capital. You only accept capital from those who have it, the banks that are holding it, the pension funds, the insurance companies, the SACCOs. But if interest rates are prohibitive, people will not access. That's why you are seeing what is called a stagflation in this country today. Stagflation to mean we have a recession and inflation at the same time. There is no growth. Which sector can you say today is growing in our country? There is no sector that is growing. And government cannot be the driver. Government should never be the driver of economic growth. Government can only be a facilitator. But economic growth should be driven by the people. Should be private sector driven. So allow people access to cheap credit facilities, then using their own invention, apply their innovative minds. They come up with business modules, business ideas, and they're able to access credit facilities to fund them. So that if, for example, I wanted to do fish farming in Lake Victoria, right? I need 100 million Kenya shillings. With 100 million Kenya shillings, I go to the bank. Today they give me a loan, interest rate of 24%. They are killing me even before I start. Mm-hmm. But if the interest rate is 5% or 8%, you can put up the fish farm. Government will make more money from me, because I'm going to employ some people there. They'll spend in that economy. I'll pay their pay-as-you-earn tax. government will be earning without doing anything. So government has not done anything. Government is a partner in a business which has not done anything. It has just allowed me to access credit facilities at a cheaper rate. So big difference. You cannot compare Kibaki and Ruto. Ideologically, they are totally unaligned.
When we compare the tax regime for the former president Uhuru Kenyatta and the current president, when you look at the statistics, you realize that what the treasury is collecting is far less as compared to what Uhuru used to collect.
You see, if you look at, that's a very good comparative. Look at the National Treasury. They normally release the revenue estimates per month. When they released the estimates for last month, for the months of July and August, the National Treasury in July collected 157 billion. In August, they collected 152 billion. Uhuru was averaging 170 billion per month. Now, with increased VAT from 8% to 16%, with increase in pay as you earn, for those who are earning above 500,000 from 30% to 35%, with all those taxation measures that the Kenya Kwanza administration has come up with, we are seeing them collecting less. Why? Economists have an explanation. It's called the Laffer curve. We have reached the Laffer curve in economics, which means you've taxed people where you've reached a point of no return. You cannot tax them anymore. The cow is now dry. So your revenue, the taxation will just keep going down. And that is one thing that Kenya Kwanza doesn't seem to understand. They don't understand what are the innovative ways in which you can raise more money. They think it's by raiding your pocket. There's nothing in that pocket. Government should be encouraging something to be in that pocket. Then you are the one who will proactively send it to government. Because you have money in your pocket. Who doesn't want to pay tax?
No one.
Everybody loves to pay tax because they belong to the body politic of the nation. But when there's nothing in the pocket, you'll even come and look, then you'll find nothing. There's no economic activity that is taking place in this country. There is no growth taking place. Employers nowadays are just looking at which new tax is being introduced to manufacturers. Then by the number of taxes you've increased, they reduce the workforce. You decide you are going to deal with the cost of living by importing refined edible oils. Fine.
Which end up it's actually more expensive.
It is more expensive. Then what have you done? The edible oil sector alone in Kenya, the Bidcos, the Pwani Oils, Menengai, as a group they pay 50 billion shillings to Kenya government per year. Right?
Yes.
These people import crude palm oil, they refine it. Oil is the main product. The byproduct is soap. Right?
Yes.
They employ people. They are paying you pay as you earn. They pay import duty when they import this crude palm oil. Now, a government that decides you are going to import refined palm oil, you've done two things, and you're importing it duty free. Now, you're not going to earn money from duty. What you're earning, number one. Number two, you are leading to job losses in these companies. Yeah. These companies that are employing all these workers, they now have no access to any market because you are bringing from a foreign country refined crude oil, refined palm oil. So there, you'll see people laying off workers. Your own revenue as pay as you earn will go down. Consumption by workers who are employed in the factories goes down.
Do you think this government is concerned?
I don't think they care. I don't think they care. Because if they cared, these are common sense issues. Why is it common sense not common to them?
Do you think this government has a problem with its policies, or they just wake up and then...
What is the vision? I've been struggling to find the vision of this government. What is their vision?
Well, a better way to ask this question. Do you think President Ruto was ready to run this government?
I don't think he was fully ready. Maybe he spent too much time campaigning, but didn't spend enough time to understand the job for Ruto'S state. Maybe.
How will you rate his performance
D-
for the past 1 year?
D-.
Why?
Because he turned up for the job. Others will have given him an E. He stand up for the job. At least he appears. You can see him. There's somebody occupying the space.
But a D- is that slow.
No. He stand up for the job. At least he's there.
We
And
can
he's
see we
trying.
have a president.
Yes. And he's trying.
When you compare his local performance and international performance,
He's doing very well internationally, extremely well internationally. But a president of a country is not elected to represent foreign interests. He's elected to represent national interests. Kenyans, not foreigners. So that excellent performance should be seen also locally. That excellent performance that he's doing on the global stage, it should be felt here. It should be about us.
what should the Kenya Kwanza do now that we are already in this space? And if the president fails, we are all gonna fail.
Me, I can tell you one thing. Kenyans should brace themselves. There's nothing these people will ever do that will change the trajectory. The downward trajectory we are going through, we should just, me, I've psychologically prepared myself for more pain. Because you cannot tell what is the vision that is driving this particular administration. And with all due respect to them, it's not even that they want to cause us pain, just they don't get it. They just don't get it. So you may wish that things will change, but then you must accept your reality. Your reality is Kenya Kwanza speaks from both ends of the mouth. Nothing positive comes out of them. In fact, I always tell my friends nowadays, if government says this, prepare for the opposite. If they promise you this, plan with the opposite. Just know it's the opposite that will happen.
Yeah.
So take their promises as the opposite. Dollar will come down to 115, 120.
Yeah.
Please, dollar is going up. Can we people organize ourselves? See, it is 150 now.
And if actually nowadays it's very hard to get a dollar.
Yeah. In fact, if you go to your bank, they don't.
Some banks even don't have.
Yeah. So.
What's your take on the National Dialogue Committee that was being held at Bomas? Will it lower the cost of living?
Waste of time, in my opinion. There's genuine desire to participate from the Azimio side, but if you look at the public statements from Kenya Kwanza, and even now the snippets of what we saw,
between
the altercation of Omar and the former vice president, you can tell you that Azimio is genuine, the other side is not genuine. So, in my view, it's not a genuine conversation. One side is genuine, one side is not genuine. So, the end result of it is waste of time.
So, you've already lost another 100 million.
Yeah, but those are peanuts. Our problem is debt. Don't look at government expenditure. Those are peanuts.
But debt.
Focus on this debt, this 80, because I'm telling you, the largest outflow in your budget is called debt finance. So if you start chasing travel expense, 100 million for bipartisan.
Because you saw that
nothing.
Circular by the
that is even that amount of foreign, those are nothing. The problem here is debt. You're talking of trillions, my friend. Trillions. How much do ministers spend in their foreign travels? They can't even get to 50 billion. But here you're talking about trillions in debt. If you dealt with the debt issue, the country gets a breather. And you're able to deal with, you see now change in the economic growth in this country. That is the problem. The problem, even if today we say no minister leaves the country, let no minister leave this country for 1 year, I assure you, if you don't deal with the debt, those ministers will be the country will be stoning them. People will leave here. The pain is now too much even in your presence. It's nothing to do with expenses. It's about the debt. That should be the focus of everybody in this country. Out of every 100 Kenya shillings you are collecting, 83 shillings goes to debt finance as per the control of budget. 83. You are left with 17. Now you want to argue how you are spending the 17. That is what you are doing. That you spend the 17 on BBI, bipartisan, you spend the 17 on ministers traveling with their girlfriends. Who cares? That's not a problem. The 17 is nothing. It is this 83. That is where the focus should be. and you get it right on that 83, then maybe you're able to save another, if it is odious debt, for example, maybe you'll end up saving an extra 60 shillings. You reduce your debt portfolio now, out of every 100 you are paying 23. You have another 60 shillings to spend as a government. You get a breather. You now don't need to increase VAT on fuel. In fact, you'll take it out. Why? Because you want to spur consumption of fuel and drive the economy. And now you collect more money. But now you have to increase VAT on fuel, even they move it from 16 to 18% soon. Just wait.
But also when you look at the fuel consumption, it has really gone down.
It's gone down, yeah.
The lowest.
Laffer curve. I told you Laffer curve. You've reached the Laffer curve.
Now the issue about this debt, how should the president
do an audit of that debt? 2 things, 3 things. Do an audit of that debt. Find out if it is legal. Which one is legal? Which one is odious? Right. If there are illegal debts in our books, why should we pay for it? Because under our laws, you only borrow money for development. And before you borrow any money, Parliament must approve. If there's any debt in our debt books that was taken without parliamentary approval, that should be an odious debt. You say this is illegal debt, we are not paying it. And if you don't pay it, you remove it from the debt books. So we start reducing this ratio. Right?
Yes.
Because the bulk of that debt, actually, I can tell you, is illegal debt. Taken without approval of Parliament and not used for any project in this country, which is dangerous. Somebody maybe borrowed money from abroad and used it in our names, but we took the responsibility to pay that debt. That's what is happening here. That's what I'm saying. We need to put our eyes on that debt, not on girlfriends being flown to Dubai. Those ones can fly for all they care. They'll come back here anyway.
And spend the money.
Yeah. Just, Dubai ticket is how much? 200,000. They'll come back here. Here is talking of trillions, my friend. Talking of our debt is at 10 trillion. 10 trillion is our debt today. 10.2 trillion, 25 trillion. Do an audit of that debt to find out what is legal, what is illegal. You may find that we actually have a surplus. We've overpaid our debt.
And that was what Jimmy was saying.
Yes. We've done our audit. That's what I'm saying. Go there. We've done our audit. If you take our laws, we've overpaid our debt. We are debt free.
Do you think the current president is willing to take that route?
I don't think he has not done it.
Is he willing?
I don't think. If he was willing, he would have done it. There is nobody who's having sleepless nights by day about this debt than him. He's the one who's having sleepless nights about it more than me. Yeah, at the end of the day, he's the one in charge. So the problem is right before his door. If he was willing, he would have dealt with it. He's not willing. Otherwise, he would have dealt with it. Okay?
There was an issue of do you think Raila is advancing his own political objectives, or he's also fighting for the local manage?
I think it's both. Yeah, it's both. It's a confluence of both. He has his personal interests, and normally I understand Raila anchors his politics on pro-people issue. And I think that is for the first time when he was not fully pro-people. 2022, when he was seen more as an incumbent. You saw him struggling during the campaigns. But his politics about pro-people. It's about the people, not about it. That's my reading of Baba.
Yeah.
He's always a pro-people politician. Where are the people in this? What are the people saying? So in between, then you can pursue his personal interests. When
he was actually invited
when
to
the
speak.
UDA was doing their national delegates congress.
Yes, right.
They invited Safina Party and Jimmy Wanjigi. We attended as a political party, and Jimmy was very clear when his speech. He said he is not there to support William Ruto. We are competitors. But civility in politics does not mean enmity. That if I'm invited to a national delegates congress of my rival, that I can fail to attend, I will attend. But I must make it clear, it does not mean an endorsement. Have you seen Jimmy with Ruto?
No.
Since after the elections?
No.
Have you seen Safina Party member join government in any shape or form? So we are not. Even Ruto, we invited him to a delegates congress, he attended. But that is what we call civil politics.
But he had other interests
No,
when
no,
he
no.
attended.
No, there's no other interest. It's just civility. It is civility. Who said that you cannot, you want to say if Manchester United are holding their delegates meeting, they cannot invite Man City members to attend as observers?
But
No, I'm asking you. They can't.
they can.
Yes, that doesn't mean that when they go to the field.
But you see, in Kenyan politics, people read a lot.
No. That was a delegate. That's why it was done publicly. If you had seen us somewhere private meeting, then you can say maybe you are negotiating. We went straight to the meeting and left. We don't belong to any formation. We are not in Azimio. We are not in Kenya Kwanza. We are the independent economic team that believes in supply-side economics. In fact, it's so far much easier for Azimio to join Kenya Kwanza than Safina to join Kenya Kwanza.
Because of the ideology.
Because of the ideological. Look at, for example, Mudavadi. By November last year but one, Mudavadi was in Azimio, so to speak. He was like in Ababa and Uhuru, right? Then he just switched.
Yeah.
Kingi, Mutua, Wetangula, all of them. They find it so easier to go. I mean, they can crisscross. Those are brothers. Huh? They can crisscross each other's homes. As we are the ones who cannot.
So, what plans as Safina Party do you have?
Safina Party, we are going to have a national conversation with the people of Kenya on the economy, which we believe the people are embracing as the key point that should drive our politics. And Kenyans will not listen to promises anymore. Kenyans want to see a tangible plan, a team that understands what the challenges are and has solutions to the problems of our economy. And we do believe that Safina Party with Jimmy Wanjigi, we are the party that understands the economic pain of Kenyans and has a clear solution that will lead to a greater transformation of our economy. And that is the kind of talk that we want to have with Kenyans. And so far I can tell you many Kenyans are reaching out to us. Kenyans are encouraging us to keep pushing this message. They're actually saying we seem to be the only campaign that is making sense in the political platform today.
We have seen other political parties, including UDA, that are already preparing for 2027. What plan? Are you putting in structures in place so that by that time your camp is ready?
The Kenyan people are talking about the economy. We've branded ourselves as the economy party. What else do we need to do? People vote ideas. People don't vote party structures. People vote ideas. We've branded ourselves as the ideas party. So we've told you what our idea is. That's what we've already built our campaign platform. That's we finished. Then is when they're doing it. By doing delegates meeting, doing grassroots election. As we've done, we've sold what the idea is. It's the economy. James Carville used to say, it's the economy, stupid. That is how George Bush lost. George Bush lost the 92 elections in America.
Sawa.
Okay.
Thank you very much for your time. I really appreciate.
Thank you very much for having me.
Asante.
Thank you.